So, have you ever really stopped to think about what makes people tick? I mean, not just what gets them out of bed in the morning, but what actually drives them to create, to innovate, and to really truly excel. Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain and unlock the real science of human drive.
And we have to kick things off with this number because it is absolutely mind-boggling. According to a recent Gallup poll, $8.8 trillion. That's the annual global cost of lost productivity. And you know why? All because of low employee engagement. That is a staggering amount of wasted human potential. And that brings us to the huge paradox we're going to tackle. You see, companies are throwing more perks at employees than ever before. We're talking gourmet lunches, wellness stipends, you name it. And yet, people are more checked out than ever. It really makes you wonder, is that whole carrots and sticks approach just broken? What is really going on here?
To figure out the new solution, we first have to take a quick look back. Let's explore the foundational ideas about motivation, what I like to call the old playbook. These are the theories that shaped management thinking for decades.
Okay, first up, you've probably seen this one, Maslow's hierarchy. The easiest way to think about it is like a ladder. You just can't climb up to the top rung, reaching your full potential, if the bottom rungs, like feeling safe and having a sense of belonging, are wobbly or missing. It's super intuitive, right? But as we'll see, it's not the whole story. Then you've got Herzberg's theory, which is actually brilliant. He split everything into two different buckets. In one bucket, you have what he called hygiene factors, things like your salary and job security. Now, these things don't make you love your job, they just stop you from hating it. But in the other bucket, you have the motivators. We're talking achievement, recognition, the work itself. That's the stuff that actually makes you satisfied and driven to do great things. And the old playbook doesn't stop there. You had Aldifer, who kind of made Maslow's ladder a bit more flexible. Then McClellan came along and argued that we're all primarily driven by one of three things: achievement, power, or connecting with people. And of course, there's goal-setting theory, which proved that giving people specific, challenging goals is way more effective than just saying, hey, do your best. All of these were really crucial building blocks. But here's the catch. If these classic theories were the whole picture, we wouldn't have that $8.8 trillion problem, would we? They're definitely useful, but they don't solve our paradox. To do that, we've got to go deeper, into the incredibly powerful world of intrinsic motivation. That's the drive that comes from within. And this leads us to what might just be the most important modern theory of motivation out there, self-determination theory. It says that real, sustainable motivation isn't something you can buy. It's something you have to unlock. And the keys are these three core psychological needs. First, autonomy, that feeling of being in the driver's seat of your own life. Second, competence, the need to feel like you're good at what you do and you're getting better. And third, relatedness, that fundamental human need to connect with other people. Now, on the other side of the coin, you've got the more, rational side of things. Room's expectancy theory. You can think of it like a mental calculation we all do, probably without even realizing it. We ask ourselves three questions. 1, if I put in the effort, can I actually succeed? That's expectancy. 2, if I succeed, will I actually get a reward? That's instrumentality. And 3, do I even care about that reward? That's valence. Here's the kicker. It's a multiplication problem. If any of those answers is a 0, guess what? Your motivation is 0. And this is where leaning too hard on that old playbook gets dangerous. Research by Deci and Ryan, the same folks behind self-determination theory, shows that when you overuse external rewards like bonuses, it can seriously backfire. It can actually crush our sense of autonomy, making it feel like we're just puppets. Suddenly, our focus shifts from the joy of the work itself to just chasing the payout. And that's exactly where creativity and passion go to die.
Okay, that's enough theory for now. Let's see how all this actually plays out in the real world. And where better to look than the high-stakes, cutthroat industry of global banking.
So let's look at this tale of two banks. In one corner, you've got JP Chase. They're pretty famous for an aggressive culture that's built squarely on Vroom's expectancy theory. The line between performance and a massive bonus is crystal clear. It works for driving certain results, for sure, but the downside can be high burnout. Then, in the other corner, you have the Royal Bank of Canada. They're playing a different game, making a big strategic bet on self-determination theory. Yeah, they still pay well, but they also invest a ton in purpose, community, and giving their people real autonomy. RBC is betting that this more balanced approach is what will win the long-term war for talent. And this whole situation just perfectly illustrates why this stuff matters so much today. The legendary management guru Peter Drucker saw this coming decades ago.
He said that knowledge workers, people who think for a living, can't be managed like parts in a factory. They have to be led. They are the engine of the modern economy, and the fuel for that engine is intrinsic motivation.
So how do you actually provide that fuel on a day-to-day basis? Well, some fascinating research from the Harvard Business Review found a surprisingly simple answer. It's the power of small wins. Turns out, the single biggest motivator on any given day isn't a huge bonus or some fancy award. It's just the feeling that you're making progress on meaningful work. This connects directly to that core need for competence we talked about. It makes us feel capable, effective, and like we're actually growing.
Okay, so what do we do with all of this information? Let's boil it all down into a new, much more effective playbook for motivation. We're going to focus on 3 clear principles you can actually use. All right, principle number 1, build a portfolio. Don't just rely on one tool. A great leader knows how to layer both extrinsic rewards, like fair pay, with intrinsic motivators, like giving people autonomy. Number 2, context is king. The way you motivate a bank teller doing a routine job is totally different from how you motivate an AI researcher trying to invent the future. You have to diagnose the work first, then pick the right tool for the job. And finally, number 3, purpose is the great multiplier. Having a clear sense of why we're doing what we're doing makes every other motivational tool you use that much more powerful. And as we look to the future, mastering this stuff isn't just a nice idea, it's going to be essential for survival. Think about it. As AI automates more and more of the routine tasks, our uniquely human advantage is going to be things like creativity, critical thinking, and empathy. And all of those things run on deep intrinsic motivation. The companies that figure this out are the ones that are going to win. Period.
So to wrap this up, let's turn the focus back on you. Of those 3 core psychological needs we talked about, autonomy, competence, and relatedness, which one feels most important for you right now in your life? And the real question is, what is one small thing you can do today to redesign your work or your learning to help fulfill that need? Because that right there is where real, lasting motivation truly begins.